Okay, before we start reacting, I'd like to ask all of you a question. Which one of you have read a Mary Sue article? And also, when's the last time you did, if you do so? As we all know, gaming journalists is suffering massive layoff. Why? How am I wondering? Was it because they attack gamers? Was it because they are not gamers? What could it be? Let's react.
So you have entire websites that are getting completely and utterly destroyed. I mean, you obviously have Destructoid. You have the Mary Sue, of course, the Mary Sue. Like, who goes to the Mary Sue for anything? Seriously. You have Prima Games, GamePer, all kinds of different websites that are just losing people left and right, laying off people left and right. And we are here for it to talk about it. So let's get into this article. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm to try to get us to 90,000 subscribers. So it says gamers' websites aren't just laying off workers. Entire sites are being mothballed. Entire websites like The Escapist and Twinfinite are just basically dormant at this point. The group of video game websites, a one-time media darling, have for the past year been struggling following changes made by Google's search algorithm that have had a dramatic impact on the network's SEO-optimized content. Over the last 2 months, both current and former gamers and employees tell us things have only gotten worse. Now, here's the thing. Okay, I'm sure that there was some change, right, to Google's search algorithm that had an effect on these websites. But I want to make it very clear, because this is Cope, right? If you think that the reason why your websites are underperforming is because of Google's algorithm, you're an absolute joke. Let it be very clear that the reason why you guys are underperforming is because the majority of people have realized what you are. You're just shills. That's literally it. You guys practice access media that are in your benefit, and you will lie to people in order for it to be in your benefit and to maintain that access.
You know what? I don't know when the decline of this. I'm gonna have to assume after Black Myth Wukong, everybody has been woken up by the BS of video game journalists. Sweet Baby Inc. detected. I think after that, everyone has woken up. The DEI detected there's about less than 500,000 people, and I'm certain some of them have to be an employee of Google. And the search algorithm drastically impacts who goes to the gaming site. And I don't know if you know this, every time I open the gaming site, I ask myself, why is there a lot of ads?
First ones to call YouTubers grifters, and yet you're out here lying either willingly or by omission on a multitude of different subjects, also that you can maintain the access to the industry that you so desperately need to be relevant. Because without the access to the industry, nobody cares about your websites. Without the access to the industry, nobody cares about what you have to say. They already don't care about what you have to say with the access anyway. So you guys have been getting absolutely felted by just YouTubers and independent media as a whole, and you're trying to blame Google's algorithm as to why your websites are underperforming. No, people have just caught on to your BS. But in any case, successive waves of layoffs have hit the network in February, March, and April of this year alone, impacting not just many of the site's full-time editorial staff, but people higher up at gamers as well, including, we're told, a large part of the company's SEO, which is search engine optimization team, as well as those employed in positions like marketing, content strategy, and assignment editors. Former employees tell us that using the network's Slack user base as a metric, there were approximately 320 workers registered on the company's account in late 2024, a number that by this week has dwindled to around 260, so about 80 people have been laid off, and of those remaining, a large number are freelance workers who say they not only have been kept in the dark about these dramatic workplace changes, receiving no notices or announcements from the company leadership, but are contracted to sites that don't appear to have operating budgets for the immediate future. So for a lot of these people that are working for these companies, they're essentially freelance workers. They're not even full-time workers. They're people that'll write, a couple of articles a month to try to get some money from these websites, but ultimately, there's really not much to be had here. These websites are getting destroyed, and I keep telling people that it's only a matter of time before most of these gaming websites are going to be gone.
Hypnotic is right. It's only a matter of time. My theory, I have two theories, okay? When it comes to Gamergate, Resident Evil 5 Remake is gonna be the one that either ends Gamergate or starts another one. Here's another theory. For the journalists, it will take just one successful game to completely force all these journalists to stop their virtue signaling and properly review the game, because 9 out of 10 times, some of those reviews is not good. Look at Dragon Age Veilguard. How many times you hear return to form, return to form, return to form. And look at Black Myth Wukong. Out of all of them, they have to put, what, the sexist article stuff in their reviews and say there's no diversity. And another thing, Stellar Blade, they say that Eve has no personality, something like that. Trust me, it's gonna take just one successful game to completely end them. And I do mean every single journalist, including IGN, and thus give it everything to YouTubers.
It's only going to be some of the biggest ones around that managed to absorb other companies while things were good, that are going to stick around. But aside from that, the majority of them are not going to stick around. The ironic thing and the hilarious thing is that the Mary Sue is a website that hasn't been profitable since its inception. The only reason why it's around is because of private investors in Australia. That's the only reason why the Mary Sue is around. But aside from that, it would never be around. And as government money starts to dry up, and as easy money starts to dry up in general, websites like the Mary Sue are no longer going to be around, or at the very least are going to be completely dwindled down to basically almost nobody working at the website. Again, who goes to the Mary Sue for gaming news? Seriously, who goes to the fucking Mary Sue for gaming news outside of a couple of people that are in their echo chamber that need their confirmation bias to be upheld versus actually getting information? That's the really reason why people go to the Mary Sue, for confirmation bias. We've been shown screenshots of internal Slack messages frequently rejecting these workers' pitches at some of gamers' biggest websites by citing budget constraints, which recently laid off writers speculate is part of a wider cost-cutting measure. Freelancers of gamer sites are paid by the post and must pitch stories to the editors. After this week's layoffs, The Escapist, which lost a number of full-time staff, is mostly now Roblox guides. Destructoid has lost several key writers and is now being updated with stories mostly being produced, we're told, by former .esports staff who have been moved over, with .esports now updating at a much slower pace than previously before.
That's a lot of staff people. Sometimes, look, I feel bad for people who lose their jobs, okay? However, activists is a different thing, okay? You can tell some of those people who are laid off were activists. Did you know that since COVID, they keep on hiring, knowing the fact they will be going back to work or something, and they didn't even do a background check on who they hired? How many activists has even got in since 2020? Or better yet, during George Floyd, how many activists managed to infiltrate not just in the video game journalist sphere, but gaming industry? And that's the real thing. When it happens, I think when the money dries. I think if the money dries, then the first thing what they let go is the activists, which I hopefully the activists got rid of. That's my assumption. And trust me, that's a lot of people. And some of them deserve our praise, but activists, no, they don't deserve our sympathy or praise. No, not a chance.
A much slower pace than previously before. Twinfinite, which also lost staff, was updated last on March 27th. While Attack of the Fanboy, once a nerd culture site, which had been recently pivoted to celebrity gossip and political content, hasn't seen a new post since March 28th. So the Canera and the Mary Sue, also affected by layoffs and resignations, are both down to just a handful of news stories a day. Bro, I would love the day where I can report on the closure of the Mary Sue. The Mary Sue is filled with some of the most insufferable supposed journalists out there. I mean, it is unbelievable, some of the stuff that they post over there, and it is clearly just one massive haterade against men. That's really all it is. It's a hardcore, like, super woke fucking feminist website that just hates on men, and any opportunity they get, they will put out some ridiculous story that has so many lies, whether knowingly or by omission. It is insane what the Mary Sue does. So I cannot wait for the day that we talk about their eventual closure, because it's only a matter of time.
Okay, I'll leave the full video link in the description. Seriously, regardless of how many shills are doing this, whatever you guys do, look, what you're doing is not feasible. Your activists, whether you like it or not, is gonna dry out. And also, I'd like to ask, which one of you viewers have ever read a Mary Sue article? Answer it in the comments, because I know some of you don't read their articles. And he's right, it's one massive circle jerk of feminists, woke feminists who hates on men. I know many people just read YouTube or just watch YouTube videos. I mean, do any of us even care if the Mary Sue closed down? I mean, we can report on it, but I don't think anybody cares the Mary Sue closed down. I mean, have they ever given gamers, I don't know, best information or anything? At this point, I'd be shocked if the video game journalist starts pivoting away from activists and start properly reviewing games. But then again, by that time, it'll be too little, too late. Because right now, Eastern video games, whether these video game journalists like it or not, is dominating, followed by indie and AA games. They can't ignore it. That's the truth of the matter.
I belong. Down to 30 seconds.
Good night. Hit the gas, Zero. Time
time's burning out.
Another epic victory! Big win!
Leave a like and subscribe if you want gaming news, theories, or you just want to see me play games, or perhaps you like trending topics. You can visit my first, third, and fourth channel up here or link in the description.